Greetings, you coastal bulwarks. I hope you're doing well. My name is Graham, and welcome to the Crack-A-Pack here on LRRMTG. Please consider subscribing to the channel. Today, I'm opening a collector booster of The Brothers War because it looked neat and it was in the drawer, and that wasn't meant to rhyme, but I'm just going to move right to opening the packs. Single pack. Boy, I'm out of practice. Why do they make the collector booster so much harder to open? Alright. All cards are foil unless otherwise noted. We begin with Excavation Explosion. 2 in a red for a sorcery. It deals 3 damage to any target, and you create a tapped Power Stone token. I always forgot that this can go face until I would lose a game to it. Neat. Next we have Aeronaut Cavalry. 4 and a white for a 3/4 human soldier. When it enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on another target soldier you control. Soldiers were a fun deck, and this was one of them. Oh, everyone make the joke. Are you ready? Which figure? This one. It's a single black mana for an instant. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. It's called Disfigure. I didn't actually say it. It's Disfigure. This card I thought would be much better than it turned out to be in this format. It was still good, but it wasn't the absolute banger I had hoped it would be, which I guess means it was well balanced. It was as if the set was well curated. Curates our next card. That was a real stretch. 1 in a blue for an instant. Surveil 2. Oh yeah, Surveil is a not evergreen. Deciduous? Surveil is like a thing now that they can just put in sets. It doesn't have to be, you know, like Scry. It doesn't have to be like its own whole thing, like a entire guild's mechanic, for example. Surveil 2, and then you draw a card. So that's a good one. Splitting the Power Stone. 2 in a blue for a sorcery. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice an artifact. Create 2 tapped Power Stone tokens. If the sacrificed artifact was legendary, draw a card. Did anyone ever do this? Has this happened in the history of this format? Please let me know in the comments if you have ever seen or even heard of this happening. I will accept my friend's cousin. Like, I don't think anyone has ever been like, yeah, you know what, at sorcery speed, I'm gonna sacrifice this legendary artifact for 2 whole Power Stones and a card. Obstinate Baloth. 2 green for a 4/4 beast. When Obstinate Baloth enters the battlefield, you gain 4 life. If a spell or ability an opponent controls causes you to discard Obstinate Baloth, you put it onto the battlefield instead of into your graveyard. I also don't think that's happened very often, but probably more often than someone sacrificing a legendary artifact. Baloth's just good. He just 4/4 is just like it's the ideal green creature, right? It's a big old square. Love that card. Got a full art forest with one of the big sort of mechs wandering through the forest. Love that. And then wow, immediately we're on to a foil mythic. We've got Portal to Phyrexia. This does some stuff. 9 mana artifact. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent sacrifices 3 creatures. At the beginning of your upkeep, put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. It's a Phyrexian in addition to its other types. This does some stuff. This is, if you could cast this in limited. Like, you could build up 9 mana in this format with Power Stones and stuff, and then this was just a game ender. This Portal to Phyrexia rules. And it's foil, and possibly relevant in some kind of constructed format. Who knows? Felden Ronom Excavator. That's how you pronounce that, right? Ronom. You gotta say it like that with your embouchure has. Anyway, it's 1 in a red for a 2/2 with haste. Can't block, because who needs to block in this economy? Whenever Felden is dealt damage, exile that many cards from the top of your library, choose one of them until the end of your next turn. You may play that card. Cool. I love its exile that many cards. You only get to pick one, but I like that, you know, if Felden gets blocked by a 5/5, you get to choose from 5 cards. Why not? Oh, and this Felden is the wide art showcase. Or not showcase, it's the wide art frame. I know there's an official name for this, and I can never remember it. Is it just full? It's not full art, because I would say full art is the whole full width. Is there a thing for this? Extended art. Thank you, James. Extended art. Speaking of which, we have an extended art. Who the heck is this? Sanwell, Avenger Ace. Never heard of them. From the Commander decks. Don't know who this is. 1 and a white for a 3/1 legendary human pilot. As long as an artifact creature you control is attacking, prevent all damage that would be dealt to Sanwell. Whenever Sanwell becomes tapped, exile the top 6 cards of your library. You may cast a vehicle or artifact spell from among them, then put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So I guess that happens whenever a vehicle is being crewed or whenever you attack with Sanwell. If you attack with Sanwell and a vehicle or an artifact creature, Sanwell's indestructible. Not technically indestructible, but you prevent all damage. Sweet. Also, a blade, he said, continuing to try to make that happen. Okay, cool. I've not seen that card before. We have a foil retro frame pristine talisman. Very fancy looking. It's a 3-mana artifact. You tap to create a colorless and you gain a life. Oh, and this is the blueprint art. Sorry, hang on. Foil retro frame blueprint art pristine talisman. 3-mana artifact. Tap to add a colorless and you gain 1 life. Booster fun. A Recholite core paired with a Power Stone matrix has significantly increased the healing effects of my original amulet design, says Urza's research notes. Next we have the boots. This is a non-foil regular art retro frame Swiftfoot boots. 2-mana artifact. Equipment. Equipped creature has hexproof and haste and the equip cost is 1. And next, it's retro frame. It's blueprint, but it's not foil. So we've got nearly every possible combination. Howling yours? No, Howling mine. It's 2-mana artifact. At the beginning of each player's draw step, if Howling Mine is untapped, that player draws an additional card. If you have a way to tap the Howling Mine before your opponent's turn, then you're really getting away with it, though I don't know exactly how you do that. But there's probably a way to do it. What in the fresh hell? I forgot these existed. Okay, next up we have Blaster Combat DJ. It's a Transformer. 3 red-green for a 3/3 legendary robot with more than meets the eye for 1 red-green, meaning you may cast it converted for that cost, which is the other side. But I'm going to keep reading the rest of this side first. So 5 mana, 3/3. Other non-token artifact creatures and vehicles you control have modular 1. Remember modular from OG Mirrodin? It says they enter the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on them. When they die, you may put their +1/+1 counters on target artifact creature. And then also, whenever you put 1 or more +1/+1 counters on Blaster, convert it. And then Blaster converts into Blaster, morale booster. He just turns into a boombox. It's a legendary artifact with modular 3. And then for X and tap, move X +1/+1 counters from Blaster onto another target artifact. That artifact gains haste until end of turn. If Blaster has no counters on it, convert it. Activate only as a sorcery. So you can play the boombox for 3 mana, and it comes in with 3 counters. And then because it's an artifact, not a creature, you can immediately pay another 3 and tap and put all the counters onto another artifact creature, and then it gains haste, and then it turns back into the other side of Blaster. That's a weird and cool card, and he's playing basketball and hanging out at the courts. Sure. I should get more of these. And finally, we have a foil extended art Ashnod, Flesh Mechanist. Single black mana for a 1/1 legendary with Death Touch. Whenever Ashnod attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, create a tapped Power Stone token. And for 5 mana and exile a creature from your graveyard, create a tapped 3/3 colorless zombie artifact creature token. Very cool stuff. And oh my goodness, this is actually awesome. I haven't seen these either. Our token is foil. It's foil on both sides. It's a double-sided token. On one side, it's a Power Stone. Good old Power Stone. We love those. On the other side, it's Ravage. It's one of Soundwave's tapes. It's a 3/3 Menace Death Touch token legendary artifact creature robot. It's a 3/3 with Menace and Death Touch. It's Ravage. Love Ravage. Cool. Now, we've joked before about drafting with collector boosters. I think we've done it once. So, you know, it's not really the sort of pack that you typically make a first pick from. So I'm just going to take Blaster because I like Transformers. But probably the best card to take out of this, if you are doing a Brothers War draft, is... it's probably Portal to Phyrexia, honestly, just because it is a bomb. Also, in the case of this whole booster is worth about $36, and 29 of that is the Portal to Phyrexia, so not bad. Well, feels good to be back. That's going to do it for the Crack-A-Pack today. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Until next time, remember that everything we do here is brought to you by you and your support of our Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun, and we really appreciate it. Please, like and share and subscribe and leave a comment and all that good stuff. Until next time, I have been Graham, joined by James on Tech, Matt edits these, and Heather gets them online. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will talk to you next time. Bye.